I was watching a good friend of mine do some vocal tuning in Melodyne the other day. I suggested that he also adjusted a couple of other things while he was there. This blew his mind. He didn't know that Melodyne could do more than just tuning. So I'm going to show you my top 5 things I use Melodyne for almost every time. Hi, I'm Stuart and I run Stubert Studios, a remote-based recording studio. Later on, I have something I want to give to you for free, so stick around. Melodyne. What is it? At its core, Melodyne is a vocal tuning software. It is very popular in the music industry, and if you're a Studio One user, you most probably have a version installed that came with your Studio One software. One of the best things about Melodyne is that it keeps the tracks sounding natural, but it can do so much more. I'm going to show you 5 things that I use it for on a regular basis. Now, I'm not an expert on Melodyne by any stretch, and I continue to discover new things it can do every day. And there's so many shortcuts that I've yet to find. But this is what I know. Tuning. This is the obvious one. Melodyne is a superior tuner.
I can't pretend that it's not my fault. It's worth a try to swerve past it all. I tell myself it was meant to be. Rearview mirror staring daggers at me. Oh no.
Okay, I want to do some vocal tuning. In Studio One, they kind of integrate it somewhat with Melodyne, so there's actually a shortcut for it. I use Windows, so on Windows it's Alt and M. That fires it up.
I can't pretend that it's not my fault. It's worth a try to swerve past it all.
Okay, so when you're tuning vocals, there's kind of 2 ways or 2 main ways to do it. If you know the key of the song, go up to this top left hand box where it says key, and I'm actually saying this song's in the key of G, not G blues, in the key of G. Okay, now what you can do under this box here, it's an automatic tuner for the vocals. So if you move it across, see the way they're all moving? So that is tuned up all the vocals. Now sometimes this can be a little bit sterile because it's trying to tune it 100%. So on a main vocal, I tend not to use this. On a background vocal, certainly if there's multiple background vocals, I might well use this and then just go through and just make sure that it's okay. On a main vocal, I'll use my ears and listen to it and do it manually. So doing it manually,
I can't pretend that it's not my fault. It's worth a
so there, fault, just a little bit sharp maybe.
fault.
So we can zoom in. And fault, we're just going to move it down a little bit, see what that sounds like.
I can't pretend that it's not my fault. It's worth a try to swerve past it all.
Again here, try, we might play with that word.
It's worth a try to swerve past it all. It's worth a try to swerve past it all. I tell myself it was meant to be.
But Melodyne is quite forgiving. It will help you out. So say, for argument's sake, here, this isn't going to fit, but we wanted to move this up from the A that it's currently singing to the C. Melodyne will let us do it.
It was meant to be.
And it's not too bad. Maybe if you were going to do that, you would move that note slightly.
It was meant to be. With your mirror staring daggers at me. Your mirror staring daggers.
So like here, it's kind of two notes. Melodyne has seen it as one note, but you can actually split them.
Mirror staring daggers at me. Mirror staring.
And then you can adjust them independently.
Mirror staring daggers. Mirror staring daggers. Mirror staring daggers at me. Oh no, I don't want to remember.
And that's the basic tuning of it. I'm not going too in depth on this video, but it's amazing what you can do with a vocal using just the tuning. Volume control. Whilst you're going through tuning, if you notice some notes are too loud or too quiet, you can adjust the volume of those notes as you go. Okay, now the great thing that Melodyne does is enables you to control the volume of each individual lyric, word, note. So here we have a phrase.
Coasting away is all that I know. Ho, ho.
Okay, so there's one word here which is particularly quiet, and this big held out note is quite loud. So we zoom in.
Is all that I know. Ho, ho.
Okay, so I want to boost no, which is that word there. And I can just go to the amplitude section here and turn it up.
Is all that I know. Ho, ho.
Okay, and I want to reduce the volume of the big note there. Now I'm going a bit mad here just to emphasize what it can do.
Is all that I know. Ho, ho.
So compared to what it was,
Is all that I know. Ho, ho.
you can see it in the meter. So just gone no.
Oh.
And then after volume adjustment.
Oh.
And you can go throughout the whole track and do this as and when required. It's fantastic. Sibilance. Melodyne will allow you to adjust the volumes of any harsh sibilance notes, like this. Sibilance. We need to move sibilance from this conversation. I repeat, we need to remove sibilance from this conversation because sibilance is much S's and there's some T's and it's not overly pleasant, so sibilance should be removed. Exactly. So in Melodyne, we'll just pick the first word. Sibilance. We need. Okay, so right at the start there, you can even see where the sibilance comes out. Sibilance. We need. But in Melodyne, we've got a thing on the left here called sibilance balance. Now, if you watch this transient now, see what happens. You can take it right down. Sibilance. 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 We need to move sibilance from this conversation. Let me go through and I'll do all of them and then we'll listen to before and after. Okay, so now it sounds like this. Bear in mind, I've only done this very quickly, so I haven't really gone in much detail on each particular transient to ensure it, but just to get the point across. Sibilance. We need to move sibilance from this conversation. I repeat, we need to remove sibilance from this conversation because sibilance is much S's and there's some T's and it's not overly pleasant, so sibilance should be removed. Okay, so we compare that with sibilance. We need to move sibilance from this conversation. I repeat, we need to remove sibilance from this conversation because it makes a huge difference. Yes, there's DSs out there. Yes, you can use dynamic EQ. But if you find something that's particularly harsh, you can actually deal with it before you even have to worry about any of that. You're in there, you're tuning the vocal. If you come across some sibilance, you can deal with it there and then while you're still tuning. Same as you did with the volumes. Alignment. If you're working with multiple background vocals, you can manually align them so that they're in sync with each other.
New and old friends.
Mainly on that last note, you can really hear the vocal coming out the right hand channel is slightly later than the one on the left.
New and old friends.
But with Melodyne, we can fix that. So we load it up, zoom into the section that you're going to play with.
New and old friends.
A bit there actually. Okay, and before you do this, there's one important thing which you need to do. In the right hand top corner here, there's a note that's currently highlighted. Disable that, which enables manual mode. Because with that disabled, you can move notes around. But if that's left enabled, it does this. Rather than being able to just micro adjust it, it's a big adjustment. So if you disable that, you can move it as little or as much as you like. So let's line this one up.
New and old friends. New and old friends.
How much tighter does that sound? And Melodyne has let us do that. Stretching notes. If you wanted your singer to hold out that big note at the end of a song, for example, just a little bit longer, you can simply adjust it here so that he or she did. Okay, so here we have the end of a song and the singer actually sang it like this.
My horizon is finally clear.
But I want that last note to stretch out a bit longer. Now I could either get the singer back in, set it all back up, and do another take, but you've got to make sure that all your settings are the same as they were before. Microphone's in the same place, singer stands in the same place. Doesn't always work. Or with Melodyne, it's even simpler than that. Really simple. So fire up, bring the track into Melodyne. Any quiet points at the end, just remove them so that they don't become an issue. Turn off your automatic adjuster, so you're in manual mode. Grab your last note, which is... and I want another bar on that, so we're literally just going to pull that across, and let's see what that sounds like. It just sounds natural. It sounds like the singer sang it for that length of time. And once it's mixed, if it's got reverb on it, I mean, I would have thought there'd be quite a lot of reverb on it. So, yeah, nice long reverb. But it also works the other way. Say the singer sang it for too long and you want to shorten the note. So let's take it from there and let's shorten it right down. So now it'll sound like this. Melodyne lets you do it. I don't know why you would ever do that, but Melodyne lets you do it. I mean, you could go... I mean, that's just silly now. A bit long, but bearing in mind we haven't done the pitch modulation at all, so if we took that down to say 70% maybe. It still kind of works, especially if I mean, Melodyne also lets you do fade out, so if we did something like that and then just lost that last little snippet. It just amazes me how much you can do just within one plugin. It is so good. It really is. Bonus tip. Okay, I said 5 things, but I'd not be doing the software justice if I didn't also let you know into the little secret which you may not have thought of yet. Melodyne can be used for more than just vocals. For example, bass guitar. If you have a bass that's slightly out of tune or the bass player played a bad note, Melodyne could save you here. We're going to record a bass for this song. What I'm also going to try and do is, at some point, I'm going to try and play a wrong note so that we can emphasize what you can do in Melodyne. Alright, let's go. Okay, so this is what the bass sounds like at the moment. So we clearly played that wrong note there. The bass is out of tune, so what we can do is we can go in Melodyne. Can pull it all up. Make sure we select it to the right key, which is G on this song. And then we can open up our automatic tuner here. And the pitch, we want it in the center on everything. So that's that. So now, all those notes that were out of tune, not by much, but they were out of tune, are nicely in tune. Now let's find that note I played wrong. So there, I played a B and it should have been a C, which is on both of those notes there. So in Melodyne, all we need to do, move it up to the C. Is it 100% perfect? No, it's not 100% perfect. But in a mix, that will be the difference between something sounding off and something sounding right. So before. And then if we tune those up. We go there. Melodyne just gives you another avenue to save a track. Guitars. Now this one's a bit more tricky and it won't always work, but it could be a bit of a lifeline if needed. You can use Melodyne to extend notes, remove artifacts, even adjust the pitch, but only slightly. Okay, so we're going to put a lead guitar down here. I'm not going to play it particularly well because we're going to use Melodyne to fix a couple of issues with it. Like I said, you can't do this routinely. It's a band-aid for when nothing else can be done. So on guitars, I wouldn't really recommend this, but it could get you out of a jam if needed. Alright, so okay, right, let's have a listen to that and see what needs to be adjusted on it. Okay, I like that bit in the middle. I didn't like that bit at the end there. Right, so let's put that in Melodyne and see what we can do with it. First note is there that we played wrong. So because we recorded in DI, we can do this. You can't do this at all if you use an amp. There. So this is why I say you have to be very careful the way you do it. So a way to counteract that would be bring that down, split that note, put a fade out on that note, extend that note. That's what this sounds like. Bringing it back in context. So we didn't like any of those. So we had to take that whole section and try moving the whole section up. Might not work. Sounds weird. That first one sounded alright. Maybe if we did... This is going to sound bad, I think. Better than I thought it was going to sound. Okay, so do that. Let's do pitch modulation there. So that last note, if we did a little bit of fettling with it, messing around with it, we could probably make that sound like that's exactly how we meant to play it. So I'm not sure about this middle section, to be fair. Let's take that back. But again, the other thing with Melodyne, if you go wrong, you can restore anything you've done. So Melodyne is great. You can use it on many things. On guitars, you need to do a lot of work to keep it sounding natural. So I would only use Melodyne on guitars if there was no other option. But I have been known to, I mean, one thing it's very good for is extending the note. So like say this last note here goes like this. Say for argument's sake we wanted to extend this note so that we want it to finish at bar 147. We can do that. But Melodyne is so good. It is so good. I mean, the other thing that it can do is, we didn't like this section here, did we really? But we did like it earlier. So, say for argument's sake we wanted that, we could copy that, go over here, delete that out of the equation, and then we can obviously I'm just doing this on the fly, not really thinking about it too much at all, probably about there maybe. So we've taken the section that was back here, and we've moved it up here. And then again, we could extend notes. Like I say, guitars is not the best example to use it on because it is probably one of the hardest instruments to manipulate. But that gives the idea. Like I say, Melodyne can do so much more than I use it for. But these are my top reasons that I will potentially use Melodyne on every session I work on. Now, I said I had something to give to you. If you jump over to www.stubertstudios.com/guitars, I have a free guide to help you record better sounding DI guitars. Go to www.stubertstudios.com/guitars. If you found this video useful, then please click the like button, and it would mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. It is free, and it'll help me know what type of content to create for you in the future. Thank you so much for watching. See you all next time. Alright, bye.